What's up? What's up? Give folks a little minute. We're back for part two. Making a million in 2022 in private equity. We'll give y'all 1 second. Let a few people get on and we'll get rolling. Really hoping that my coffee delivery would get here before, but I've got something coming up, so I got to head out before two, and wanted to get part two out for you guys. Let's see. Yeah, we got a few folks popping in here. Feel free to start putting questions in. We're going to be talking a little bit about yield farming and what it takes to kind of come up on a million in a year in private equity. Let me check with the front desk just to see if I got delivery or not. Hola. Sí, feliz día. ¿Cómo estás? Sí. Voy a estar una llamada y tengo una llamada que va a venir. Si llegue, si eso llega, yo puedo ir en como 20 minutos. Así puede esperar ya. Bueno, bueno, perfecto. Muchas gracias. Cool. All right, who we got? Let's see. Larry, what is up? We'll start with a few questions, and we'll get in while people are popping in. So, how do you branch out globally, finding resources and networking? This is something that just has been a learning process over the past, I guess, 20 years, even 25 years. I realized we had an exchange program that came to my school when I was in high school, and that was kind of my first exposure. We had never traveled internationally as a family. It wasn't really a part of my reality. And so I ended up getting a scholarship to be able to go in this exchange program. And that exposure was kind of the first time that I realized, like, wow, okay, there's this whole world. And, I'm talking to a friend of mine who lives overseas right now. And, we're talking about, okay, how do we get people exposed to more of the world? And really the first thing is, because I know people. I was a part in my town in Chattanooga of the Big Brother program. And, we have kids in Chattanooga who haven't been to the other side of town to see that we have a river in that side of town, in town. So, there's kind of all these different levels of just gaining exposure. But a big part of that was, starting to build relationships just with that first trip of, like building relationships where I would go and I would stay in their home. I would learn more about the culture. I would learn beyond that initial trip, and invite her family to America. And so that was that first exposure. So I just started to understand the importance of, let me build relationships all over the world and learn about different countries. And so as you're, even if you're taking a vacation, instead of just taking a vacation, why not go to a country you're interested in doing business in? Find people in the industries that you're looking to do deals in, and just reach out. I've found that people are very, very open, even in countries. I'm in a country right now that had a genocide of Black people. It was basically, a lot of people don't even know this in history, but it was for Black people, the kind of this similar Holocaust, which really was They were a safe haven for the Germans after the war. And so there were just some really negative things. But now there's like a tremendous openness to doing business and interest in doing business with me. But I think that in general, it's just going to that country and starting to build those relationships, and then that will give you the resources. When it comes to networking, there's just no, as much as we love using social media and those things, nothing compares to pressing flesh, as they say. All right, I do want to jump in. Deval says Ace. All right, let's get in. Let's get in. John is already asking about the yield farming, so I want to jump in and really start this conversation off by saying, getting into yield farming from the crypto perspective isn't really this huge shift from what we've already been doing. And I mentioned this yesterday. Shout out to Andrew. I mentioned this yesterday on a call. That we're talking about on the PEPI 5 call. That we had somebody who was from PEPI 2, and we're talking about some of the really cool things that we're doing in crypto. And he brought it to the attention. It's like, yeah, but at the end of the day, when I compare those returns to what we're able to generate on something as simple as lending, and some of the other strategies that we've used, it's still pretty incredible. And I think one of the I've talked about this before, but there's a reason that banks have the biggest building in every major city on earth. And the reason is that you create this phantom money. And so, when I talk about infinite returns, we're always looking for those infinite return possibilities. And the biggest difference when you're looking at, the lending compared to some of the crypto strategies that we use, when we're in a deal and we're looking at that business and we're lending on that business, obviously there is collateral, there's a level of safety there. But, we're talking about a specific deal that PEPI 3 did with PEPI 2, where there's a loan, and when you start to get payments on that loan, you're getting some interest, you're getting some principal, and you're able to go reinvest that. But you still earn principal on the total amount as if that money is there. And so really at the end of the day, nothing compares to those kind of phantom and infinite no risk. I mean, at that point, when you go and you invest that in the other place, you're earning interest in both places. And so when you compare that with the volatility, and obviously I'm very happy today with what the crypto portfolios are looking like. But when you compare, it's really a combination of both things. And so what I like to consider is, how can we yield farm in every aspect of the fund? So the first place that we're yield farming is, we have this dry powder that we're starting out with. Before we get to a deal, what are the different places that we can maximize our yield? And with a portion of that, we're going to be okay with the ups and downs of crypto and some of the risks there. Be sure to like as y'all are coming in, say hello, and I will get to some of these comments. But one of those things is, before we start even acquiring a business, that money's just sitting there. We want to maximize the yield in that interim. When we buy a company, that company usually will have funds sitting there, because keep in mind, unlike what you're going to do if you're buying a business, I'd never recommend that you buy the LLC of that business, because as an acquisition, you're just looking to buy the assets, put it into your own LLC, and not deal with the headaches of that other LLC. And it's tougher to negotiate those deals as an individual, because there's going to be a big tax liability on the seller. When we're doing these deals, we find the individuals that are looking to sell equity. So, that's the reason it's called private equity. We're not buying just the assets of that business. We're actually buying the business. We're buying the entity. And so with that entity, and this is why this is the secret hack, you know what I mean? The secret hack to the proper way to invest in crypto and take those risks is to buy an entity, buy a business that already has cash and is generating more cash, and then taking their cash. Don't use your own money. Take the prop, take the income that's already coming in, so you're able to dollar cost average into crypto, into yield farms, into DeFi's, pool swap, all of these things. You can start to put funds in, but as that is going up and down, you're really leveraging that business. So, we bought a business, had, nothing outrageous, mid five figures in cash. So we're going to take a portion of that cash and want to invest it. But we don't want to just invest it in crypto because that would be crazy. But we're yield farming. So in that case, we went out, we bought another business, we put a down payment on that business. We participated in a loan that also is a strategic partner. We did a royalty, and then we did some crypto. And so the crypto portfolio, we have some nodes. We're in a DAO in that deal. And I believe that we may have sold, we're part of we invested in a pool, but I think we may have like a tiny bit left in that. We've switched over to something else, but we diversified. So we're using that company and the income of that company to invest and get more exposure. And so we're tripling that yield because as a fund, we've got this business, it's making money, and it has some cash in the bank. So we could just have that be our yield and farm, that becomes where we've gone, and we are getting yield from that business. But it becomes more powerful when we take that yield and we invest it to generate even more yield. And then obviously this becomes the whole snowball. The only thing I'm looking to do in everything that I invest in is I want to create snowballs. So I want to create snowballs of income where we're taking some income, that income gets reinvested to generate more income, which gets reinvested to generate more income. And as that additional income is generated, you're investing more. You have more to invest, and so you take more and more risk. So that's the first part. If you want to get to that million in a year, it becomes, that becomes the big focus. It's every dollar that you get access to, every dollar that comes in. Everybody focus on trying to have the biggest fund, but you don't get to keep the money that's in the fund. You get to keep the money that's a portion of the money that's generated. So you're trying to generate the maximum returns. The other part, though, is, and one of the things that I have people that reach out to me, I put Nori's email up as the name today. So that is there. Y'all can email Nori. But I have a lot of people that reach out and they're like, okay, how do I join? I want to join. And, the other part of this is you have to have a team where everybody's pushing on all cylinders, because if you have that the money is working and generating a mass amount of yield, and then you combine that with all of the GPs working to maximize that business. So if you have all the GPs maximize the business, what that does is it gives you more gas. It gives you more cash to go and reinvest. And so that is a big part of generating those really massive returns. So if you're doing a lot of work and your partners aren't, then that really, it slows down your process. And so my job is and has been to filter out people, and it's impossible. I talked about in Fund One, we had somebody who had some really tough family situation, family emergency that came up that really just shifted his life quite a bit. But the other guys in that fund kind of took up the slack. And did an amazing job. And Peppy 2, we had one guy who had twins, and it was, just he had a lot of stuff going on and some medical things. It was like, okay, the other guys have to take up the slack. And so there's these, and then just somebody who had different businesses. It's like, okay, yeah, I've got something else. So a big part of what I'm trying to do is figure out, all right, when we're filtering people, we need people that are really going to be committed. And there's just no way. There's no way to know the future. There's no way to know, this is what's going to happen. You're going to have this emergency. So it's, even with that, as much as we try to filter, those things are still going to pop up. But those two things combined are one of the things that you can make sure that you're doing, getting the right partners, getting every dollar generating yield, and really filtering your deals based on, okay, I'm going to get access to this amount of money, and then this is what I'm going to do with those funds. Cool. All right, I got to bounce out of here, but this will be a series. So, feel free to come back if I don't get to your question. All right, this was John. Hey, so use farms to provide 20 to 50% safest returns, or go for more risky ones, or just stay diversified? And if so, what's the split between the two? So one of the things that's a lot of fun for me is I really do leave that up to the GPs. So when we're coming up with our strategy, it's like, okay, we can go very, very aggressive. And in most cases, it ends up being a split. So the first place that we're splitting when it comes to generating yield is we're doing some covered call strategy to generate yield there. We're doing some lending, and then we're doing some crypto. Within crypto, we've got some that are in safer, just yielding on BTC, ETH. And then we put a smaller portion that is in the flyers. You know what I mean? So, we're definitely in a couple of DAOs that may be risky, but, obviously still doing due diligence. And there are a couple that are very, very promising. Another place that I think is a little bit safer than even the DAOs is nodes. So it still ends up being a split. Diversification is what has always been really crucial. But that exact percentage between the higher three and then within those three, how aggressive we get, I really do leave to the GPs. And I try to give input and guidance, but I'll leave it to them. And so it varies in each fund. Yes, I got that. Perfect. John was very make sure he was talking about APY, which is crucial. There is a very, very big distinction when it comes to some of the yields that people promote versus the yields that are actually going to end up in your wallet. All right. We got M. Edwards says, completed the MAP program earlier this year. Have done a couple of deals via LinkedIn. Congratulations. Nice. Looking to help local businesses. What do I say when I get a business owner on the phone? So the most important thing when you're building a relationship with the business owner is to get to know what their situation is. The last thing, I wouldn't even start talking about a deal when you get them on the phone. You're just trying to build a relationship with them, find out where they are. If anything, you're saying, hey, I love your business. If ever you consider selling, I'd love to, be somebody that you reach out to. But in the meantime, I'd love to just figure out how I can help your business. So I like that you're already saying you want to help local businesses. So that's where I would start. It's just letting them know I'm here to help, would love to get involved. And it's a great thing for you because it cuts down the time and due diligence if you can get involved with the business early. Lamaris Thomas says, that's extremely smart. I certainly appreciate that. That has been something that evolved over, this last decade of doing kind of this end of things. So definitely appreciate that. Dr. Glock says, hello, Ace. Hope you are well. I certainly appreciate it. Love that book, Snowball. Uncle Buffett, man, he realized that early on. Everybody thinks that Warren Buffett is a stock market investor. He's not. He's a private equity investor. And that's exactly his strategy. When he invests in Geico, it's specifically to get access to those funds that are sitting there. And guess what he does with the funds? He invests in the companies that he also invests in. And guess what that does to his portfolio? It increases it. It's not rocket science. So pretty cool. What up, Ace? I recently bought your book. It's amazing. Certainly appreciate that, Victor. I'm enjoying these live streams. I look forward to learning from you one day. Who's a good kind of candidate for something like that? So when we are looking for the candidates in PEFI, we're trying to get a diversified group of people. So, you know, we may have one person. I mean, PEFI 5 is a great example where, you know, it's our first all-female GP fund, which is really cool, but all of them bring different expertise. You know, we have one person that is a CPA, that is an accountant, CPA. We have one person that has a great marketing background. We have one person that has a great tech background. And you look at PEFI for really the same thing, where we have a person that's been in deals, been a broker for a really long time. We have somebody who has an amazing tech background. We have somebody who's has a marketing background. PEFI 3, and I can think of the you know, these are just the specific people. We have Kay, who's amazing tech. You know, just each one we're mixing it up quite a bit based on their experience, you know, whether it's admin, whether it's finance, whether it's tech. So the really great thing though is bringing something like, what is your background? What is your expertise? And even just interest, you know, that's one of the things we're finding when we get into crypto. Usually there's at least one person that's like, I want to dig into this side of things. Pirate School, baby, what is up? Thanks for popping in. Do you leverage yield from one portfolio company to offset another portfolio company's performance? Yes. So, you know, there's a lot that we do there. Won't get into the complications just because I do have to head out. But, you know, just as an example, if we have one company that is generating really great yield, we might even just loan from one portfolio company to the other. It gets, you know, a return on its loan. And, you know, obviously that's lower than the yield that this other company is getting, but it gets more cash into that company to fuel the fire. All right, I'm gonna end it on this one. John says, thanks for answering. Hope you're good. I certainly appreciate it. Everybody have an amazing day. Let's get productive. Let's make some amazing things happen. We're at the end of 2021. I cannot believe it. So let's have a strong ending. Thank y'all for popping in.